So a lot of people are really freaked out about gas prices. I know that it's really affecting a lot of people all around the world, not just in the United States. It's happening all over the world. And I know it's affecting a lot of people who are thinking about RVing or people who are already RVing, especially those on a fixed income. So does this mean the end of RV life? Are the gas prices finally once and for all going to kill RV life? I'm going to talk about that and more. Stay tuned.
There ain't nobody gonna do it for you. Got to find your own.
Hey friendlies, I'm Carolyn. Welcome back to my life, living in an RV for almost 6 years. So I can't escape the questions and the conversations about gas. Just this morning in my camp, I had that conversation with a local. Everybody sees the RV and they want to know how much it's affecting me. And of course, it's going to affect RVers probably more than just about anybody else. Because for one thing, I have a 52-gallon tank. So it's costing me $160 to fill my tank, roughly. So it's really going to affect RVers. I get 8 miles to the gallon in case you're interested. Yeah, it's horrible. But I want to kind of maybe look at this in a different perspective than you might otherwise be looking at it. First of all, I think it's important to distinguish between two different kind of RVers. There are the recreational vehicle people, right, who go out for recreation in their RVs. They go camping. They might go 2 weeks a year. They might go a month a year. Some of them even, have a home base. They have a house and they go off for 6-7 months a year. But those are still, somewhat part-time or the recreational vehiclers, right? And then there's the people like me and probably millions of us now at this point who RV doesn't stand for recreational vehicle. It stands for residential vehicle. Mine is a residential vehicle. It's not a recreational vehicle. So the residential vehicle dwellers like me are definitely going to be impacted. It's kind of like the way I look at it. It's like an increase in rent, right? For me, because of the way I live, I don't have rent, I don't have mortgage, gas. When I first got Matilda, I was gassing up at a gas station in Tahoe, and a guy, and you remember Matilda, and a guy was like, "Wow, that really must take a lot of gas." And I'm like, "It's my mortgage payment, and that's what it is. Whether I spend, depending on how much traveling I do, $400 a month or $1,500 a month, it's a mortgage payment. It's a rent payment. It's the cost of doing business. It's the cost of residing in my vehicle and traveling the way I do. So for those of us who live in a vehicle, absolutely, it's going to affect us more than the people who have a choice as to how much they travel. But I know a lot of full-time RVers and vehicle dwellers, residers, who don't travel a lot anyway. I know the Arizona desert and Flagstaff area and areas in Oregon. There are people who literally live in the national forest. They move, they stay 2 weeks, they move for 30 days. They follow the rules, but they have like a pattern of maybe 100-mile radius because they're already on a fixed income, so they don't travel a lot anyway. So the people who are on fixed incomes, the people who are living in their vehicles out of necessity rather than choice, they have to, otherwise they'd be on the streets. So I don't know how much it's really going to affect those people, to be honest with you, because they're already not traveling a lot. And if they're living in a car or a van that's already getting 25 miles an hour and they're only traveling 100 miles a month, it's going to affect them, sure, a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be the drastic effect that a lot of people are thinking. But when you look at someone like me, I get 8 miles to the gallon. I have a 52-gallon tank. It's costing me about $150 right now to fill my tank. If I wanted to keep traveling the way I do, it's going to cost, that's for sure. So yeah, it's definitely going to affect my standard of living, my quality of life, or the way I choose to live. Fortunate for me, I had already made a conscious choice not to do a lot of traveling this year. So 52-gallon tank, about $150 to fill my tank. I get about 400 miles to the tank of gas. So $150 for me. I can travel 400 miles. That's not bad. I can do a lot in 400 miles. So, at 8 miles a gallon, even, I'm just sharing this in case you're thinking about RV life. And I want to share some perspective with you. There's a lot of manic worry over the price of gas. I saw a great meme on Twitter this morning, a sign: we should be more worried about the price of insulin than we are about the price of gas. I'm like, yes, hallelujah. Why aren't we up in arms, outraged over the price of our meds? I mean, we're going to Mexico for our medicine, and people are bitching that they're going to Mexico to get their gas. There's I don't know what this is about. I do. Check out my other channel as I see it. I'll put a link at the end in the video description. I've talked about gas prices and what the real cause of the gas prices are, and it's might be not what some of you think. So yeah, it definitely is going to make a difference in those of us who are residential vehicle dwellers instead of the recreational vehicle users, right? But there is an upside. There's always an upside, right? Look for the silver lining. And I, as someone who likes to boondock and who likes solitude and doesn't like crowds and noise, I think this could be a good thing for some of us this summer, especially those of us who can't afford to travel. And that means the recreational vehicle people might decide to stay home. They have a budget and they live in their RV, or they live in their RVs for their camping and their vacation, but maybe they can't afford the gas this year. So maybe they'll stay home. Maybe they'll stay closer to home. The last couple of years, forests have been crowded. They have been so crowded because nobody was able to go anywhere because of the pandemic. So maybe the end of some of the restrictions around the pandemic and the concern about getting sick, coupled with the high gas prices, might mean a lot of people do something besides take their RVs out or go camping. So for those of us who can still be out here, and like I said, I don't think it's really going to affect most RVers as much as you might think. But I think it could be a good thing for some of us, meaning less crowds, maybe even RV parks and campgrounds and national parks. If you like to visit those, maybe those will even be less crowded especially than they have been. So my advice to you is, if you're on the road, if you're new on the road, if you are planning on getting on the road this year, but I know some people have said, I can't go on the road now because of the high prices of gas. I don't think that really makes a lot of sense. You can literally, even in an RV, 400 miles for $150. I don't know what you plan on spending on gas anyway, half that, I guess, right? That means you travel half as much. It doesn't mean you don't travel at all. It doesn't mean you completely give up on your dream of living in an RV. It just means maybe you need to regroup. Rethink your plan. Instead of traveling to another state, instead of traveling 1,000 miles, you travel 500 miles. It's still definitely doable in most cases. And I know some people had plans to go across country and you're not able to do that now, but that doesn't mean you can't do anything, right? I mean, that doesn't mean just because you planned, like you're ready to go, you have the RV, you've sold your house, you're ready to go, and now you're like, oh no, I can't go because of the high cost of gas. You just have to there's a word I'm looking for. You just have to be a little flexible and rethink your plan. But it doesn't mean that you can't do it. So no, I don't think RV living, residential vehicle living is dead. I really don't. I think for a lot of us, it can be a good thing this year. And I think for anybody else who is concerned about their budget and the fact that gas might be twice as much, that just means you travel half as much. Not a big deal. I'm enjoying staying in one area and exploring nooks and crannies that I didn't know about, and I'm in a really cool place right now, and I can't wait I've been shooting video about it. I totally found it by accident, and I will be doing a video on it. So just, slow down, take your time, look for the nooks and crannies around where you are, and just adjust. That's the word I've been looking for. Just adjust your plans according to your budget. But don't give it all up just because it looks scary on the outside. Just dig deep and figure out what you need to adjust to make it happen. Sometimes I think we let little things sidetrack us, maybe because we're afraid. But don't let there's always going to be something. There is always going to be something that's going to tell you no, you can't, right? There's always going to be some challenge, some hurdle that you need to overcome. Are you going to let those challenges and hurdles make you turn around and run away from your dream? Or are you just going to regroup and adjust your plans and make it happen? Sometimes that's what you have to do, just freaking make it happen. All right. Hope you found this interesting and helpful, and I'll see you Sunday night with another travel video. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. Do me a favor, subscribe to my channel. If you think you're subscribed, double check, because YouTube might have unsubscribed you. Just this morning I had a comment, where have you been? I haven't seen you in years. I post 2 videos a week, every single week for 5 years now. So make sure you're subscribed, check your notifications, and I'll see you all soon. Take care. In the meantime, be happy, be free, and be kind. See you soon.